Welcome to the Joy Work Show, the podcast that goes beyond the surface of business, right to the heart, to explore the real joy and the stories behind success. Hiya, I'm Diane, and Happy New Year. I hope you've had the holiday period that you really needed, and there's been lots of joy in it. And if you're listening to this as one year ends and another begins, I want you to stay in that slow period, and I want to slow things right down. In the last solo episode of 2025, I spoke to you about if your year had felt different, if it hadn't quite gone to plan, and maybe you hadn't put your plans in motion yet, and you were feeling tender and a little bit sore from how 2025 has gone, because I know there was lots of that of how I felt about 2025. And maybe you're listening to this on the 1st of Jan 2026 thinking, I just don't quite know where I'm going yet. I just haven't got those plans in place. And again, as I said at the start of this, the last episode as well, this probably isn't the planning episode that my clients and the members of the Joywork Members Club would be expecting to hear, because I'm a planner. I believe in 90-day plans, and I started my plans back in early December because I believe that 2026 started then for me. But that's not how it always goes. That's not real life, and that isn't always real business. So I want, if you haven't done your planning, or if the holiday period and New Year's Eve last night has left you thinking a little bit more reflective, or that you want to go over your plans, here's what I want you to do. Before you plan anything, your year, your business, your life, there's one decision that matters more than all the rest. And most people skip it, including me. I planned what I thought was a great business plan in December 2024. If you've listened to my podcast for any length of time, you'll know that 2025 didn't quite go to plan. And there is lots of elements of 2025 that no matter how much I planned, it still wouldn't have gone to plan. But my plan could have helped and supported and been much more foundational than it actually was. And the thing that it has, and why we have to think about why plans break, is that people don't fail because they can't plan. People fail, business owners fail because they plan from pressure. Pressure to catch up, pressure to do a planning model that somebody else says is the one that's going to change their life, pressure to prove something, pressure because you should be planning, pressure to be further ahead than they feel. But the thing about plans is when they're built from pressure and not from knowing and reflection, awareness, understanding, and foundational, they just don't last. You might feel good going into the beginning of January with a pretty planner and highlighters and perhaps a wall planner that's all color-coded. But if you don't know the foundations behind it, it's just a pretty picture that by February will be broken. And the most important bit about that is you will be left no further forward in your business, feeling like you've failed again. Don't get me started on that. But it won't be doing and be the foundational tool that it should be for you. And in the last episode, I spoke about what 2025 taught me from how difficult it was, but it's also reminded me of some other really crucial things, some other really crucial elements, that you can't lead a business well if you're disconnected from yourself. When I reflect and look back, I was constantly trying to be somebody that I wasn't 100% sure who she was, but also my life, my health, and my business model wasn't supporting. That some of the goals that I set were created by a version of me that wasn't the version who had to live them out, because I hadn't spent the time being truly, honestly aware of who I wanted to be, who I needed to be, and who I could be. And it isn't failure, it's evolution. It's knowing where I am and where I want to go from a me point of view. And it's being honest and aware about the leader that I am and that I can be. But leadership requires self-trust. And I wasn't doing enough to build that self-trust within myself. So the one decision that you have to make today, whether it's looking at the plan that you've already made and thinking about how you're going to execute it, or whether it's that you haven't done any planning at all, and now that it's the 1st of January, that back to school feeling is starting to whirl around in your tummy, it is this. Who am I choosing to be as I build this next chapter? Not what are you launching, not what are you earning, not what action are you going to take at this point, but who are you whilst you build? And when you're thinking about that person, when you're thinking about who you want to become, ask yourself, what pace supports me now? What am I no longer willing to sacrifice? There's so much we need to do about putting boundaries in place around ourselves, our business, our family, our life. And then I want you to ask yourself, what does success actually feel like in my body? How do I want to feel? And this becomes your filter. The decision you make, the person that you know you want or need to be to hit those North Star goals, to get to the end of 2026 feeling differently, to be able to take the action for the income goals and the launches that you want. But it becomes your filter that when you feel yourself getting lost, you come back and ask those same questions over and over again. And when you know who you want to be, you start being her or him or them. But when you know who you're being, decisions get cleaner, get easier, because you've put a decision process in place. Boundaries get easier because you know who you are, you know who you're showing up as. So you can put that boundary in place because that's what that person needs and deserves. Distractions lose power because they're no longer aligned. They're no longer important. They're no longer something that you're willing to accept as you being that person. And joy stops being a reward. It stops being the thing that I will be that person when I hit this level of income. I will dress a certain way when I hit this level of income, when I have this many clients, when my business is worth this much. Joy stops being a reward and it becomes the strategy. It becomes the things that you look for every single day because your life is full of joy, your business is full of joy, and the person that you're becoming is full of joy. So write one sentence. In the next chapter, I am someone who. Who do you want to be? What does that person do? I remember in the Denise Duffield-Thomas episode, she spoke about writing on a mirror, this is what a woman who earns 6 figures looks like. In this next chapter, I am someone who has a 6-figure business. In this next chapter, I am someone who takes her family out for a meal every single week and doesn't even think about the money. In this next chapter, I'm someone who writes a book. I am an author. Whatever you want it to be. In this next chapter, I am someone who fuels her body with the food that it needs. That's going to be important for me. And then think about that sentence and let that guide your yeses, your nos, your planning, your first 90 days. You don't need the whole year mapped. You need to know the bits that are important. You need to have a 12-month bird's eye view. But you need a grounded beginning. You need to know who you are becoming, and you need to become them now. And be that person to take the action to hit those big goals. You need to think about your identity and build that self-trust. Because that identity, the goals that you want, the sentence that you just wrote, that you are someone who, that means it's already happening. That means it's given. That means it is inevitable. It's just about you taking the action. It's just about you running your business now. Because the things that you want, the goals that you want to hit, the business you want to have, it is inevitable. You just need to show up as her. My 3 takeaways for you today. You don't need a perfect plan. You need self-leadership. You need to be the person that will plan and do it. The perfect plan is all very well and good, but if you don't take the action from it, it's just some pretty colours and pretty words on a piece of paper or wherever you keep your plan. Number 2, that your goals should serve who you're becoming. Your goals should be based on that sentence, I am a person who. And if your goals are too small, you're going to start shrinking that person you're becoming again. You're not going to be showing up as a person who's going to take the action because the action isn't going to be aligned enough to get to the goals you want to get to. And as I said at the end of the solo birthday episode about the podcast, if you shoot for the moon, you will land among the stars. Do not give your goals fear. Do not give them an inferiority complex. You want your goals to be so big that they scare and challenge you, and if they don't, they're not big enough. Thankfully, right now, mine are terrifying me, especially now it's the 1st of Jan. But imagine I didn't set them. Imagine I didn't go. Imagine where I'll be at the end of Q1 because my goals are so big. If I haven't hit them, I'll be so much further on in my business than if I hadn't put them in place in the first place. So think about how your goals serve who you're becoming. And number 3, that joy is chosen at the beginning, not added later or as some prize for being a good business owner. Joy needs to be your fuel. Joy is a strategy. It is a way to build your business. There is going to be so much more joy in my decisions this year, more authentically, more honestly, than there was last. Because I know what I want to build, I know where I'm going, and I've put some actions in place to get there, just for 90 days, mind. And then we'll rinse and repeat those 90 days again. So before you panic today that you haven't got the perfect plan in place, don't worry about the perfect plan. Think about who you're becoming. Think about who you want and need to be and put the plans in place to become them. Then you can work back to the nitty-gritty, to the to-do lists, to the 90-day plan. Thank you for listening today. And if you do want to create a 90-day plan, then you can come into the Joywork Members Club and do exactly that. It is what we have been concentrating on for the last few weeks, and you are not too late. You will absolutely be able to do that. There is a link in the show notes that you'll be able to follow and come and join us. And you'll also be able to have a one-to-one directly with me to get that 90-day plan in place. I hope you've had a lovely festive period, but mostly I hope you're really excited about 2025. I hope you're ready as you can be. I hope you're setting some goals that terrify you, and I can't wait to hear. And one of my goals is to get more subscribers. So please, if you've enjoyed this episode, any of the episodes, to not miss out on the next episode coming out, please go and subscribe wherever you're listening to this. Like, share it with your friends. It really does mean a lot to us podcasters because it means that more people hear us, see us, and help the podcast grow and bring more guests. I hope you have a lovely rest of the couple of days if you have some full. Thank you for listening today, and I wish you all the joy for 2026.